Good morning, mountain bikers. Today we're continuing our beginner ride series, and I'm at Lake Hodges. So Lake Hodges is a place where you can make it a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Today I'm going to focus on a beginner-friendly ride. I also have a beginner with me. Say hi, Steve.
Yo.
You guys may remember Steve from one of my Sky Park videos, Converting a Roadie. I'll link that one if you're interested in watching it. It's fun. But Steve's going to ride with us again, and it's going to be really fun. So we're rolling dice today with conditions. It wasn't supposed to rain last night. It did. We're going to go check it out. If it looks okay, we're going to go for the ride. If it doesn't, we may have to turn back, and you won't even watch this video because I'm not going to post it. We'll see. So if you're watching this video, conditions were okay. All right, a couple things you need to know. Just like my other beginner rides, you can ride just about any bike out here and be fine. A rigid would be iffy just because there are a lot of tiny little rocks. It would more be annoying than anything else. So I would recommend, an entry-level hardtail or better. I'm still on my enduro bike even though I don't need it, but still healing, and I just want that little extra cushion. Once again, it is not necessary for this trail. That's just because I'm still healing. Otherwise, I would never even consider bringing my enduro bike out here. So we're going to look at anywhere from 10 to 12 miles today. This one will be a little bit longer than the other beginner rides that I've done in the past. And yeah, that's it for now. Let's go ride. Yep. All right, Lake Hodges beginner ride. Here we go. We're leaving the truck right now. I'm not going to film every bit of this, otherwise you're going to be watching an hour-long video. But I'm going to make sure I have the camera on during the important parts for you. So you're going to start out by crossing under the 15. Once you go under 15, that directly links you up with the trailhead. So as long as you get onto this path right here and you stay on it, you can't really get lost. So once this path comes to an end, this is where you have to make your decision. For high beginner, low intermediate, you're going to go straight. I'm going to save that for a different video. As a beginner, we're going to take a left. So we're going to stay on this road for a little bit. Just continue straight. And I will make sure I film any turns. Whee! Alright, as you approach the bridge here, you're going to go straight. We're going to cross the bridge in a different video. So this trail is going to take us onto Lake Hodges. It starts out as a nice wide double track, borderline fire road. You're going to run into a lot of hikers, joggers, walkers right here, so take it easy. No land speed records. If you have a bell, use it. I'm going to be a hypocrite and not use mine because I don't want to drive you guys crazy. But if I were not filming right now, my bell would be on. Okay, so we're coming up on a little river crossing here. Yay, there's still a bridge. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable riding this bridge, that is fine. Feel free to walk it. So we have a little climb ahead of us. This is one of the bigger climbs we're going to do today as beginners. It's not huge, but if you're not used to climbing, you'll feel it. Oh wow, this got graded. This used to be all rocks. That's interesting. And then we're going to stay on this trail for quite a while, so we're almost done climbing. You can see the little rocks and whatnot. That's what the majority of this trail looks like. So I'm not going to film us going up too much. When we come to intersections, I will definitely make sure the camera's on. But if you can see it right now, you got a pretty good gist for what we're going to have ahead of us. Oop, there's some mud. We've been riding on this little double track for a little bit. Coming up on one of our first turnouts. This turnout's just a lookout. If you want to get a view of the lake, feel free to take it. If you need a break, it's a good spot to stop. But it's not going to take you anywhere. So we're not going to take that one right now. We're going to continue here to the right. So right after we turn this corner, we're going to have our turn off. And this turn off just pulls you up into some single track. I would say it's beginner friendly. I've taken beginners here before and they were fine. There are a couple sections where you may feel a little uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to walk. So right here, instead of going down the hill, we're going to take a right and go up. We'll do that in just a second. Alright, so we're taking a right. As you can see, we just turned into some single track. A few more rocks here and there, but they're also very manageable. This is a little power climb. As long as you're ready for it, you're good. You don't need to be in your lowest gear. Just be ready to hit it. If you approach it with some speed, your life will be much easier. All right, we're gonna hit the single track. So this is relatively easy single track, pretty flowy. A couple rock gardens here and there, but they're all very manageable. So as a new rider, this is a good place to kind of develop and test your skills. And it also has a couple little jumps that you can do. They're not big, unless you hit them with a lot of speed, then you'll get some air and you're gonna land flat, so just be prepared for that if you do decide to hit them. I'd say hit them slow, work your way up. But that's mostly coming back the other way. So I'll talk about that more then. I don't think I'm gonna be hitting them today. I don't wanna take anything where I'm landing flat just yet. My collarbone's not ready. Well, my collarbone's ready. I don't think my shoulder muscles are ready for that. So yeah, just enjoy the single track flow for a moment. On a different note, conditions are really good right now. It rained a few days ago. Rained a little bit last night. We almost decided to call it, but thought it didn't rain that much. Let's just go try it. Glad we did. Conditions are pretty good. Oh, spoke too soon. There's some mud. That seems to be the exception though today. A little bit of mud here and there. Just remember that if you do come across a puddle on single track, to ride through it, not around it. Keep the single track single. Alright, so this is one of the most technical parts on the ride right here. Can't do it, that's fine, walk it. So we're gonna have a tight turn over these rocks, tight turn right here, through some more rocks, into that. So once again, if you can't ride this, that's fine, walk it. That was a terrible place to stop. What was I thinking? So as I said, that little turn was one of the most technical parts of this trail. We got a couple other spots where, as a beginner, you may or may not feel comfortable. We'll come up on those shortly. This is a really good turn to practice good form. It's a semi-banked, so you can pedal through, brake before, drop a pedal, all that stuff. This is also a good trail to practice line choice. While it's mostly single track, you still have some line options, some that are much easier than others. And it's just a good place to practice because it's a wider single track. Alright, coming up on one of the parts that may be more difficult as a beginner. There's a little downhill right here. It's very doable, has a very long run out, and it's really not that steep. It's one of those things where if you commit to it, you're going to be fine. There's a couple different lines you can take. I'll show you my recommendations. So there's this line right here. While this line's not as steep, I actually think it's harder because you have to make a turn mid-down. The line I recommend is just to go straight down the right side there. If you go straight down the right side, it's not nearly as technical. You move away from the rocks, you move away from the ruts. If you want more of a challenge, move more to the left. But that's where your form is going to be more important. You know, you want to take some weight off the front, really drop your butt. That way you don't end up going over the bars. So, once again, as always, if you're not comfortable with something, don't do it, walk it. So we're going to hit this, and then there's one more section over here where I'm going to stop and really look at it with you guys, and then you can decide if you want to hit it. Steve just went for it. Take it right. And then before that pole, stop. So we just hit that little downhill. Here's the next one I wanted to show you guys. I'm actually going to get off the bike to show you this one. You have two line options. Option one is my favorite. You come out of that downhill, you drop into this thing, and this thing's super fun. You just hug the left side and go. It's really fun. If you're not into that, once you hit this pole, you can take a right, and it'll take you down a much more mellow line, but you're gonna have a much more difficult climb on the other side. At that point, I would say you could ride down this, but be prepared to walk up. Now, when I say difficult, it's not really that hard. It's just a commitment. It's actually really fun. It's one of those things where as long as you don't hit your brakes, you'll be fine. We have another little G out right here. Steve, same thing, but smaller. Okay, so we're gonna stop here for a sec. If you go left, that is very much the beginner way. Once you go left, you can take a right, and it'll take you up the road. I'm just gonna show you guys this other section, so you know it's here. If you're ready to challenge yourselves. This thing is steep, but it's very doable. So you just come into this, and whoa, that tree fell down more. Normally you would roll in right here, but
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know right now. Now with that tree, also there's a lot of water down there.
Walk through it.
It is kind of funny. All right, coming down this little fire road. We're gonna hit the road, then take a right. There's some little water bars in here if you want to practice your jumps and bunny hops. That's a good spot for it. And cars do drive on this road, so be aware of cars. All right, we're gonna climb up the road and then I'll bring you back. We just climbed the road. Here's some more single track. Going along the road, there's a single track the whole way. There's also a couple porta potties if you need to go. This is also a good turnaround spot if you're looking for a shorter ride. This is more of a connector to the next piece. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Connect to the next piece so you can see what it looks like. Also very beginner friendly. There used to be a little bump right here where you could jump it. Nice. I don't know if it's still here. Let's see. Oh, kind of. The thing's gotten worn down a little bit. As a beginner, it's perfect. Doesn't have any kick. We're still cruising along the road, but it's about to come to an end. I'm gonna cross right up here. There's a little jump you can do. Make sure I have Steve with me. So there's a, what? There's a little jump over here. So we're gonna cross the road, and under that tree to the left, there's like a nice little rounded hump that goes into a hill.
Nice.
If you want to try to get some air, that's a good spot for it.
Hell yeah.
So we're gonna go hit this little thing. For somebody who's learning how to bunny hop, learning how to get the wheels off the ground, this is a perfect little jump. So watch for traffic. As I said, cars can't drive on this. And here we go. Excuse me. So this is another good natural turnaround spot if you want to shorten the ride a little bit. We're not going to turn around just yet. We're going to keep going. There's much more single track this way. This is all beginner friendly. Let's continue down Lake Hodges. I think this is technically the San Dieguito River Park Trail, but as far as I'm concerned, it's still part of the Lake Hodges ride. So once again, this is very much a beginner-friendly trail. Not much elevation. There is one section we're coming up on where, as a beginner, you're going to want to walk it. And as someone recovering from a broken collarbone, I think I'm going to walk it too. Now, if you see that little rock up there on the right, that's a little launch pad. That thing's really fun to just get some air if you're there. If you're not there, you can go right around it. I'm not doing anything where I'm going to hook the flat right now. It's just not a good idea. I need to recover a little bit more first. About to approach the other most technical part. For now, I would just walk this. I'm going to roll up to it nice and slow for you so you can get a good look at it. It's a little climbing rock garden. And if you are not a power climber, just don't even bother. This thing is climbable. I usually do it. But you can see how, like, if you're not a power climber, this could be tough. So we're going to walk it this time. Whenever you're ready.
So one of the issues that I'm running into big time right now is riding the line, finding the line, trusting the bike. Because on a road bike, any little bump is going to completely throw you off balance. So here, I'm going downhill, I'm looking at your line, I'm following it, and then at the last second, something like this, I'll try to jerk out of the way, and then just stalls me out.
That's actually going to cause more problems than it would if you just went over it.
Right.
So, yeah, with mountain biking, you really have to trust your bike. Just know that that bike can handle anything out here.
Cool.
And if it can't, I'll tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And that's a pretty common thing with people who are learning how to mountain bike. Instead of looking at those little features as opportunities, they look at them as obstacles.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're going to be hopping them. You'll be looking for stuff like that. Like, how can I make this harder?
Right.
So as we continue down this trail, we will have some ups and downs. They're all very doable. Wow, this all got graded since the last time I was out here. This is crazy. It's like a different trail. That's a shame. I get it, but it's a shame. Good morning.
Good morning.
So going back to Steve's point of trying to avoid obstacles, remember that's what the bikes were built for, was to handle the terrain that we're riding. And 90% of the time, if you just lean back a little bit, you know, drop your weight and let go of your brakes, you'll be fine. 90% of the time. There's obviously exceptions to that. But out here, that's a good rule of thumb. Drop your weight, let go of the brakes, you'll be fine. There's nothing out here that's really that scary. Ooh, water crossing. So here you can go straight or left. I prefer to go left. I think it's a little bit more fun. You get a bit more single track that way. But if you go straight, it's going to take you to the exact same spot. Up here, there's a little road crossing. You can stay on the road or on the trail or hop up onto the road. Doesn't really matter. The trail's a little off camber. There's a big old root in the middle, but you can roll right over it. A little sinkhole. And this will put us out right at Hernandez Hideaway. Hey, Hernandez Hideaway. We're at Hernandez Hideaway. Just take a look. You can see the restaurant right up there. If you can see around this bush that's in front of it. This is a good turnaround spot if you're a beginner. If you want to continue, you can. This is still an out and back, and it'll take you a few more miles. But we're at just over 6 miles right now, and as a beginner ride, I think 12 miles is very reasonable, so we're going to turn around. Also, it gets a little bit more technical over there, so I'll save that for my high beginner, low intermediate review when I come back here in a couple weeks. We're going to go back the same way we came. So I'm going to have the camera off a little bit more. Since you guys have already seen most of this, I'm just going to really video the fun parts so you can take a look at those. Let's go ride. All right, so we're coming up on that rock garden that we walked up earlier. I'm going to ride down it. If you don't feel comfortable riding down it, don't. 100% up to you. If you are, take the line to the left. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the line to the right. Okay. Because there's a cool little roll right there that I like to do. Don't do that. That's not beginner friendly. Okay. So like I was just telling Steve, if you want to ride down this, do it. But stay to the left. I'm doing a different line that's not very beginner friendly. It's just a line that I like. With the rock garden, your wheels are going to slip and slide a little bit. That's fine. It's really about just trusting your bike. So on the right here, there's a little rock roll. Bloop. That's fun. So that's, if you're riding out here, that's going to be kind of a good challenge for you guys as beginning riders. Once you can do that comfortably, then you're ready for a more challenging ride. So I'm going to go curb, drop. Ah, there's some water right there. And then quick little climb. We're coming to the end of the road. If you take a left, it'll put you back into some single track. But it has that big dip I showed you earlier. Definitely more of an intermediate route. So we're gonna stay down the road and then take a left and climb back what we came down earlier. Taking the left right here. So your turn off is going to be right at the bottom of that hill. Make sure you don't fly by it. And we're going to have a quick little climb. Running back in a minute. They get you. So we just finished up that little climb. This should look familiar at this point. We're going to take a right. We have those little G-outs we came in on earlier. Just make sure that if you are going to ride them, you're hitting them with some speed. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck part of the way up a hill, and it's not going to feel good when you come back down. Yep. Carry as much speed as you can. And you really don't even have to pedal on it if you carry speed. So now we're coming up on the hardest climb in the place. We're gonna climb up that downhill we did earlier. So take a left into the single track. This climb is more about steady and then power at the top. You're not gonna wanna use your lowest gear unless you have a 1x10, 1x11. If you have a 2x or a 3x, you're going to want a harder gear so that you have some power at the top. If you're on a 1x and it's not a 1x12, if it's a 1x11, you can drop all the way down. All right, getting this climb. It does have a little out if you go to the right. If you get like 2/3 of the way up and you're like, I'm not making this, you got that little out. If you want to try to manhandle it to the lip, then just stay left. That's what we're going to try to do right now. See if I still have my legs after being off the bike for 2 months. So there's my out to the right. Still got it. We just finished out that climb. Now, we're on that same single track we came in on. I'm going to keep the video off for most of it since you've already seen it. But there's a couple sections coming this direction that I think it's good to look at. I'll turn the camera back on for those. So you have a little opportunity for air right here if you want it. And we're about to come up on the first rock garden that I warned you guys about. That the tight turn. It's actually a little bit easier from this direction. I'm not going to stop this time, I'm just going to ride through it. But once again, approach it slowly. And then just make that turn. So a little bit easier from that direction. Now we're coming up on the other little hump where you can get some air. I'll hit it slowly. Like I said, I don't really want to do any big hucks to flats while I'm still in my healing process. But if you pedal into this thing, you can really air it out and get some speed. Get some speed and air it out. This section is fun to take a little bit faster as we approach the downhill that we came up earlier. There's a little hump you can see up ahead where you can try to get some air, but just be aware that it turns directly into a downhill. You're gonna take a right after we hit this little hump. Fun little section. So this should look familiar. Once again, we're just coming back the way we came. Haven't made any new turns or anything like that. Except this time it's gonna be mostly down. So just be aware of your speed. You're gonna run into a lot of hikers, a lot of people walking dogs, small children, all that stuff. So be aware of your speed right here. I'll bring you back when it gets interesting. And this will bring us down to the bridge. The bridge is going to be on the left side of the crossing, so take a nice wide turn if you're going to try to cross the bridge. If you're going to get off and walk, it doesn't really matter. Oh, nice, Steve. Yep. And we're just about done here. So once again, this should look familiar. You're just going back the way you came. I'm going to turn the camera off here in a minute and just leave you with the fun stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this ride. Once again, I'll link Steve's video from when we converted him to a mountain biker. I'll also link my playlist of other beginner rides around the San Diego area if you'd like to check out more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thanks for riding with me today. We'll see you next time.